So I'm finally back with a video, and today we have some Meteora DLMM live trading, starting with around 30 Solana, and this is pretty much just one of the wallets which I'm trading with, kind of experimenting with different strategies. And we do have a few trades. Some of them are a bit outdated from about 2 weeks ago, as I wasn't actually able to trade in between this period. But basically, you'll be able to see how it goes, some of the different strategies I'm using with the heart attack strategy, but also some multi-day as well, and we'll see how high I can run it up. I do make some pretty large profits, but then also make some pretty stupid decisions as well, and do lose a lot of what I made, but it shows you into the risks of DLMMing as well, and why you need really good risk management. Hopefully this is something I can do which is more consistent, but I thought I'd just get this one out of the way with all the clips I've recorded, as I didn't really want them to go to waste. So for this first trade, we are in the boss pool, and I'm sorry I have lost my voice a bit. It happens sometimes. And basically, it's just reached a new all-time high. Volume is high. And what we have is one of these great pools. We have a 20 bin 2% pool, and it has a lot of TVL in. So by pooling here, we're actually capturing quite a lot of the price movement. And even with a little dip right there and back up, we have managed to capture some fees, which is quite good. So what I'm going to do, go ahead and do is, it would have been good to remove my liquidity when it fell down and made it into a bid ask on the way up. So we don't capture any token profit, but we do get some fees. We got about $30 there, which is quite good. So I'm going to go ahead and withdraw and close that, as we want to lock in the profit. And I'm going to go over to Jupiter and swap that out. So we have continued with the heart attack strategy, and I just want to show you what I did. Opened a position here. Went down to about here with a bid ask curve. It went down most of the way. We earned some really good fees on the way down. Now I've withdrawn my liquidity and I have flipped the big ask, so I actually make some token profit. And I'm actually on my other monitor got the Ultra LP dashboard so I can see my P&L, and I deposited 8 Solana to this position, so a little bit more. And as you can see, we're printing green candle right now, so I think this is probably when it could be a good idea to withdraw, lock in that profit. But you can see the amount of fees I've got, and I've just earned a bunch of token profits, even in this very narrow range with this token pumping on the way up. And I'm still getting comfortable with this strategy. That's why I'm still only using not massive positions, but the fees are insane when you can do this right. Of course, extremely risky though. So I'm actually going to go ahead and close that out right now. I can generate that P&L, but obviously near the top of my position, I'm actually going to go claim the fees, close it all right now, sell those tokens, as we just managed to print all of that right here, almost a 10% print, I think, which is really, really good. Going to withdraw that. Maybe the token even goes up a bit more and we actually make more profit. So I'm going to go over to Jupiter and probably sell those tokens now, see if I want to re-enter. So now we've just entered a new position, and to be honest, I just saw this coin had a massive run up. It was popping up, some people entering, or maybe entered higher. And to be honest, I just saw it was on a dip at around 5.3 million. And I literally just bought a tiny bit of Solana of the token so I can, ride a bit of profits. As I saw a lot of these other guys who went in with a lot bigger balances were actually a bit underwater when I decided to buy some tokens. We've just gone in with a tiny position, just a tiny spot buy. We're not really going to make a lot of profit off this, even if it does go out of range at the top. And we do have the risk of it falling, and we lose not just in permanent loss, but because we bought the token as well. But we're making a few fees here and also riding that token profit, as we did manage to buy on that dip. And, very often when we do see a 40% dip after a massive rise up, there is going to be some kind of bounce, which has luckily been capitalized on. About 0.2 Solana up right now on a 1 Solana buy, which is really good. So I have already exited, and you could see I actually would have made a bit more fees if I stayed in, but I did exit on this red candle. You normally want to exit on green. I think I exited on this green one, but sold maybe on the red one. Did miss out on some profits, but I am practicing the heart attack strat, and it is very risky. The token could have very likely dropped as well. That's why I just wanted to get a quick P&L. As you can see right here, we just made about 7.9%. But, it does scale, I think, the strategy, and, I'm still getting used to it. So continuing on, and this is actually the next morning, and this is just one position I did overnight.
I wasn't actually going to do anything, and I just thought, might as well throw this on. And it was in the 20 bin 2% pool. So, I spoke about this. This is actually one of the top pools right now for Boss, which is good with the TVL. I think one other pool has quite a lot, but this is still quite a good pool. And that 2% fee really helps as well. So I put about 10 sol in, and very conservative. From my range was going back about 40% from my opening. You can see it's actually pumped out. So my fees are actually worth a bit more, worth about 0.3 total. And to be honest, I think my range was just from, I think I opened it at about probably around here. And I think my range just went all the way down to about there. And the coin went down a bit, and it looks like it's just pumped straight back up, and volume's actually going crazy. Could actually be good for some heart attack strategy potentially right now, but I don't actually have a lot of time. But that was a very safe play, and I get some nice fees from it, so I'm going to close this out as well.
Okay, so it's now a bit of time in the future, but what did happen was I did lose to a rug. Basically all of my 4 or 5 sol profits was obviously a rug by enter anyway, but to be honest, this was a few weeks ago, and I haven't been able to trade since then. But now I am back, and I am in some new positions, so hopefully we can make a bit more profit before rolling on to the next episode. So I just entered this Uranus pool yesterday, the token on a large dip. So I'm going to pull up the chart right now, get across, and if I zoom out a long way, previously, it was up 40 million and it went up to 70 million. Obviously it ran right back down to 25 million. This was a zone I bought at. So I bought at about 28 million, dipped a bit further and then ran back up. This was a huge drawdown for this token, and it hit right on that fib line as well. And I still think Jupiter ecosystem has some strength. That's why I entered it. And to be honest, the fees, they're not amazing, but they're not awful. I have managed to generate this off like 3 Solana, and obviously these are all tokens I bought as well. Went in the 20% pool, as this seems to have most of the TVL, and to be honest, it's doing pretty well for what it is. But next up, I am looking to do some more degen pools. So looking at these kind of tokens, I think I've missed the initial heart attack for this coin, but you can see very high volume, and it looks like it just rugged. Probably pretty good we did not enter that coin, to be honest, as it did have a 0 Jupiter score as well, but hopefully we can find a few to do. So jumping around a bit, I know, but didn't end up going in any more heart attack or degen, and this is just after, but I did actually close out that Uranus pool. The token just pumped. So if I on my watch list, find it, if we look, we can see that it is currently at 35 million after running up time scale a bit. So we managed to cash out for a few days worth of trading the lows of this token, and managed to make about $150 in profit, which is quite good. That is partially due to Solana pumping, but this is mostly profit in the end.